The greatest show of all time.
All right, everybody. This is Clint Arthur, and welcome to the greatest show of all time right here on 77 WABC Radio in New York City. And if you are an author, a speaker, a coach, an expert of any kind, a consultant, advisor, if you make money because of what you know and who you are, then this is the right place for you, because that's what this show is all about: how to be more, do more, and have more as a celebrity entrepreneur. And today I have one of my pride and joy magic messengers. You know, when you got a message, everybody got a message, but when you know how to book yourself on TV, when you know how to make miracles happen, when you become a New York Times best-selling author, like my guest today, Dr. Kellyann Petrucci, then you are no longer a messenger, you're a magic messenger, and she's one of my most favorite of all. Kellyann, thank you so much for joining me here on the show.
Oh, Clint, it's such a pleasure. It's so great to see you.
It really is. It really is. We've known each other a long time. I remember getting the call from you back in 2013. And
I was just going to say 2000. Well, I met you, I think, in 2012.
Well, you showed up at Celebrity Launchpad #1, and you were pissed off because you didn't book every single one of those producers to have them put you on their shows. You came back again for the second time, and then on the second time, the producer from Fox LA fell in love with you, and
I got everyone the second time. The second time I booked every single show, and I don't think you can say that about too many of the experts.
I can't. And since then, you have been on what you call a magic carpet ride. Why don't you talk about that for everybody and tell people what has happened since we came together, magically together?
Yeah, so I just want to say that, you know, Clint is dead on when he talks about having the ability to really be able to book yourself and understand television and navigate yourself around television. And we all know where the trends are going. And we talk about the whole digital marketplace, which I've been very integrated in and certainly a part of. But there's still so much growth and room and explosion, and you can pierce the universe by really understanding everything about television. What I mean is understand how the DNA of television works. So it's like this: understand how to book. You have to understand what to say to the producers, how long to talk to them. You know, as Clint said, stand up when you talk to them so the energy's right. You have to have the energy right. Once you get to the studio, hair and makeup styled, lines memorized, well slept, you know, ready to go. You have to be a tiger. And then after you show up and you are head to toe ready, you've got everything is locked in. When you walk into the studio, you have to be aware of everything around you. And so there's this naturalness that you have to really physically be able to feel. You have to be able to understand who the host is, who is speaking to you, watch them, download them, know their energy so you can match their energy, understand the lighting, the camera, angles, you know, all of it, how to really get into the DNA of television. And that's what, you know, Clint teaches. And I ended up taking that to the next level and bringing all of that into my business. And I have to say, one of the things that I was very lucky is that I did have a natural inclination for television. I did, you know, everyone has their thing. And lucky enough for me, that was my thing. And it's something I'm good at and something that I really, really love. But everyone needs to be polished. So, you know, I was lucky enough that I got that polishing, you know, early on, and was able to use it to really catapult my career. And when I started writing books, if I can just expand. Yep.
2 New York Times best-selling books, okay? The first one, Dr. Kellyann.
And the Bone Broth Diet Cookbook, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when I started to enter into writing books, because what happens is you're on the clinic floor and you're a doctor, and what the hell does a doctor know about anything, right? They only know about the clinic floor and the patient in front of them. And here I am writing these books because my patients demanded it. Oh, you have to write a book, you have to write a book. And then you find out really fast, you have to learn how to sell the book.
Yeah.
No one's going to help you. And so
how did you make yours New York Times best-selling books? I know a lot of people buy lots of copies for their...
Never bought one copy. Never bought a television show, ever. Never bought one book. And here's why I didn't do that. To what means? Let me ask you that. To what means? Because when you do that, it's one and done. And what I wanted to do was to create something called a buyer's list. And what do I mean by that? To really develop this list based on people knowing you, loving you, and trusting you. It's know, love, and trust. And so if you buy your books, great, you're on the New York Times bestselling. I mean, you can make some arguments that can be beneficial. But when it comes to business, core business, really developing a business with legs, that's not what's going to get you there. What's going to get you there is piercing the stratosphere, piercing it enough where people pay attention to what you have to say. And how I chose to do that, again, was television. I ended up, this whole thing has been an incredible journey, the bone broth diet, how that even came to be. I had written 5 books with Wiley Publishing, and I was not in any way, shape, or form to have the gumption to write another book. I went to an event, and the only expert in the room happened to be sitting next to me, and she was the top person at Rodale Publishing. And I knew with every fiber in my being that she was not sitting next to me for nothing. And I knew there was a reason. And she said to me, "Oh, yes, Kellyann, I know your work. You did such a great job with Living Paleo." And I said, and I don't know where it came from, Clint, it spilled out of my mouth. I don't even know why I said it. I said, "Well, wait till you see my next work. Wait till you see it. It's unbelievable." And I just thought to myself that for the first time in my life, I feel a pooch in my stomach. My hair is getting thinner. I have dark circles under my eyes. I've been sitting and writing one book after the other. I do not want to write another book, but something in me spilled out those words. "Oh, wait till you see my next project." So then she handed me the proverbial card. When you go to one of these events and they hand you the card, it's like, ah! So she hands me the card and she said, "Call me, send me what you have. Will you do me a favor? Let me be the first one to see it. Let me be the first one." So I get on the plane, Clint, and I'm sitting there and I'm on the plane. This was a Saturday night. Sunday, the next day, I'm on this plane. I thought, what did I get myself into this time? Because I got nothing. I, pitched this book essentially. What is it? And I just asked the question. I put it out there and I said, please, you tell me what you want me to say. Tell me what you want me to say. What is it? What is my next thing? What is it that the world needs to hear? And it was so clear. This is kind of a quick version, but it was bone broth. Bone broth. I wrote the proposal that evening on the plane going home. The next morning, I put it out to my team. I said, make this look pretty. I'm going to figure out the comparative analysis part of it. Make this look pretty. We'll toss that in. Let's send it out. Tuesday morning, I send it out. I swear to you, Clint, no sooner did I hit send than it came back and said, "We want an exclusive." And so that's how the bone broth diet was came to be. And then they said, "Can you have this written in 6 weeks? Because we want to get it now. Can you write?" So I did a PBS special and I wrote the book, both the special and the book in 6 weeks, because you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So I did both of those, and then the PBS special exploded. It was one of the best, most highly rated PBS specials of all time. And, ergo bone broth.
Hey, I talk about how important it is to be on your media tour, to be on airplanes and in hotels by yourself so that you can have the quiet time to figure out your true purpose, to figure out the real breakthrough moments in your career. They've all happened for me when I've been alone by myself in a hotel room someplace or on an airplane. Just things magically appear. So that's great. You need the silence to be able to hear the messages. How does a New York Times best-selling book happen for a person without buying it? How does that happen?
Yeah, how does that happen? It's a really good question, because it's easy for people that have a national show that's on all the time, where you get that regular hit of that person.
Yeah,
and
like if you're Sean Hannity or
Sean Hannity.
Right?
If you're Sean Hannity, or you're Dr. Oz, or then the list goes on, or if you're Gwyneth Paltrow, if you're a household name, if you are an A-lister, if you have a regular national show, it is a given. Your book's going to hit.
Yeah, however, but for people like us.
But for people like us, how do you do it? Well, there's a number of ways you did it. How I did it was through relationships. Relationship collateral. And the reason why I had that relationship collateral is because people knew I showed up at 100% at everything I did, and they knew who I was in character. Again, you have to break bread with people. You have to physically be there. You have to have a relationship, truly a relationship. And when you have that relationship, when the crap hits the fan, you got this. When you need something, you got this. And there's nothing more valuable than this. It doesn't exist. And so, that's how I catapulted. I said to everyone, I tried an affiliate. I paid $7,200 a month for an affiliate manager at that time, because we were going to create this funnel and that funnel and this funnel and that funnel. And all of my experts that looked at these funnels right before the book launch said, this isn't going to work. Is he in consumer health? No. Did he need to be? I thought he needed to be one of those IT type of guys, like one of those funnel guys. No. He has to understand consumer health. Long story short, they said, you better ditch this because this is not going to work. Guess what I did? Would you please put my book out? Is there, and it was born out of a relationship that I already had. And you know what? I have paid that forward to a lot of people. So again, it was me going to everyone I knew and said, will you do me a favor? Will we put this book out to your list? But also, I will say that I did the PBS special, and the PBS special did hit. And that gave me what I call commercialism. It took me out of just kind of this level, and it took me up to here, because I then became commercial.
Okay. So what you're saying that, this is what I tell people. You don't make a lot of money by going on TV, but you make a lot of money because you're on TV. Is that what you're talking about here?
100%. But I do get paid to go on Dr. Oz now. So, that was time. That took time though. So yeah. Clint will tell you, if I had to go, this was my training. I was a regular on Fox 2 Detroit for 2 years. And then after I met Clint, he will tell you, I would go anywhere to get any kind of experience. So if I had to go to Palm Desert to a station in which the viewership was 10 people, I would go from New York to Palm Desert and fly in and do a spot. I wanted the experience because, look, guys, the only way you're going to get good at this, the only way is you need the initial polish, okay? That initial polish. Then you have to throw yourself into the fire. Throw yourself in, let your voice crack, get shaky, look like crap on camera, figure out that your hair is really wrong, figure out that dress makes you look fat, have a hair extension fall out, an eyelash, whatever it is. But you have to throw yourself in and keep doing it, and you will get good at it.
Yeah, like Ellen Rohr. Remember Ellen Rohr? Yes. She used to say, I realized that if I wanted to do a lot of TV, I had to start doing a lot of TV. And I mean, that it's kind of duh, but a lot of what I talk about is duh. Okay.
No, but you know what? Sometimes that oversimplification, those duh things, we have to make them principle, because if they're just words out there floating over our head, we don't really anchor into it. But when you say them and you make them principles, they come to mind, and then that really helps your practice, whatever that is.
Now, I know you climbed the ladder and you paid a lot of dues to get on Dr. Oz. What has your association with Dr. Oz done for your career?
Everything. So, I mean, I don't know what to say. So how I came to be beholden into the hands of the amazing Dr. Oz family is that I did a hit on GMA where I was sitting down with Robin Roberts. And you have to understand that These people, they don't watch their own shows. They watch everybody else's shows. So the producers were watching GMA and they saw me and said, who is she? And I got the phone call and they said, can you come and do the segment? And then that very week, that was a Tuesday segment, I got an email, I guess it was Thursday. Can you do another segment next week? And then next week, and then next week, and then this producer, that producer, this producer. And then before you know it, I became one of his most trusted experts. And the reason why that happened is because I was completely ready. I was a pro. By then, I had done so much TV at that point. It was not on the national level. So, it took me a while. I built up to the national. Some people are thrown right in it and they do great, and that's awesome. But for me, I built up with local. And after I did local, I ended up doing Dr. Oz, and, I was ready at that point. And like I said, I do think because I showed up like an expert, like a journalist, I was very good with the notes. I was very good. I knew how to really research the topic and how to make the producer's job so easy that they would be crazy not to book me because I made their job easy. And then I made them look good when I went on camera.
Great. We've talked about books. We've talked about going on TV. We've talked about Dr. Oz. What about attachment to other celebrities? Have you met other famous people, and has that played any factor in advancing your career?
I do. I have, and I do. I do think that matters. I think celebrity leverage, as I believe you call it, celebrity leverage, it does absolutely make a difference, because all these little things, what they do is it's credibility. And, we're in the credibility game. There's two things that, we really have to focus on, as an expert, is how relevant are we? So, my biggest nightmare is every day, am I relevant? Because staying relevant is our task. That's the real thing. So we talk about television, this, that, but really what we're trying to do is stay relevant. So you may say, well, why should I go on? To me, it's so ridiculous. If you understand digital marketing and you understand commercialism, to say that television can't get you anywhere to me, it's the most nonsensical. And just look at me and my journey and my life. And if you find it to be at all successful, then you will know that I basically built my career on it. And so, relevant.
At a time when many people were saying, oh, television is dead. So many people were saying that back in 2013, 14, YouTube is everything. I call it mega media. When you take TV and you put it on social media and the internet, you're now leveraging old media into new media. That's what I call mega media. Yes?
Brilliantly put. Brilliantly put. Don't tell me, folks, that getting on Good Morning America in front of millions and millions of viewers is not going to make you a more scaled business. Because if you don't believe that, then you need to really evaluate, sit back and look at businesses who have been successful and look at their path. Just the digital marketing aspects alone of what you can do with that clip, and take that clip and you bam, bam, bam.
Repurpose.
And again, it's getting that credibility. It's being authentic, and it's jumping ahead of the pack. So, those are the things that make you stand out.
Great. And we talked about those three. How about speaking? You do any speaking? Has that played into your overall progression as a celebrity entrepreneur?
I think speaking can always help, but I will tell you, I've had so much television, and I get in front of, so many people. I've gotten in front of so many eyeballs with television. I have not done that. I would say maybe 10% of my career is based on speaking. And I think it's amazing, and I think it's wonderful, and I think it helps, because those people that are watching you in the seats, they are committed to you. These are the people who will be what we call in digital marketing a lifetime value customer. So you want good shopping cart rates. You want people that, they don't return things. They put a lot in their shopping cart and they keep coming back every month, and they want to buy from you, whatever it is, and how you build a business is by those real customers that are the raving fans. And when they are in a seat watching you, it's like breaking bread with them. They feel a different connection.
Definitely. You have, as far as I can see, more desire for success. You are more driven and you want it more than just about anybody I've ever met through 46 celebrity launch pads. What's the secret of your burning desire, Kellyann?
Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, I think I was a born and bred tiger in a sense, in that my interests may be different than a lot of people's interests, because what's fun to me may be not fun to other people. Everyone has different notable mentions when it comes to fun. And for me, doing all of this, everything that I do is actually fun for me. I actually love preparing for a segment. I actually love writing books. I actually love creating. I actually love product development. I actually love all of that. What I don't like, and what I really don't like, is operations. Anything that has to do with operations, I do not want to know. Do not talk to me, and I don't want to hear it. And so here's what I did. I figured out, and this is growth, by the way. You can only do this when you scale. So I figured out, what is my complete magic? What is my absolute superpower? How can I dial into that? And I know what that is. And now I have a very strong digital team behind me doing the stuff that I can't stand. Okay, and that can only happen if you are smart about your business and smart about the way you build your business. Then you get to do what's really fun. But at first, I was doing everything. I was a one-man show, and I kept my job too, because I had to see patients. I had to. I mean, those people who let their jobs go too early, and then they get that. That's not the metrics here.
Got to straddle, definitely. We got to wrap it up. Looking over it all, what's the one key piece of advice you want to give people who want to grow up to be like Dr. Kellyann Petrucci?
Okay, this may not be what you're expecting. This is not going to be a frou-frou thing. You have to learn to take bullets. You have to be really resilient, because if you think that this is all fun and you think that this is all glamorous, it's not, because you're going to fall into pitfalls at times. You have to be able to totally just think what I'm saying now, just be a tiger. Be a tiger. Take the bullets. Be resilient. And, keep that television show in your mind of your life where you want it to be. Don't escape what you have in your mind, and just go for it.
2-time Celebrity Launchpad graduate, a regular on Dr. Oz, 2-time New York Times best-selling author, Dr. Kellyann Petrucci. Thanks so much for joining us here on the greatest show of all time.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure.
It's my favorite time of the show. You know it. It is the home repair section of the show with the CEO of HomeRepair.com, Mr. Tony Silva. You were talking about do-it-yourself ways to add value to your house and quality to your life. We got 2 of them last week, the patio with pavers and the garden. What's your next recommendation, Tony?
This week, the ideas that I have are, here's a big one, right? It is your kitchen faucet. I mean, how much time are we spending in front of our sink these days, right? It's like 2, 3, 4, 20 meals a day, it feels like. And this is a really simple upgrade that if you're going to spend all this time in front of the sink, just make your life a little easier and funner and upgrade it. Spend a couple $100, get a good one, Amazon, Home Depot, they'll deliver it for you. And look, I don't want to take any jobs away from any of my plumber brothers and sisters out there, Clint, but it's really not that hard to change your kitchen faucet.
What's usually involved? What kind of tools do you need to change a kitchen faucet?
Typically all that you need is something called plumber's tape, which sounds fancy, but it's just a little thin plastic tape. A lot of times it comes in the box, and really you're going to need a crescent wrench. If you've got those 2 things, you've got this. It's unscrewing a few pipes. Make sure you turn the water off first, right? There's some on-off knobs. Make sure you connect the hot to the hot and the cold to the cold. But look, there are so many great YouTube videos out there today about how to do anything. I mean, I thought about making a video myself, but why? There's 1,000 people that have made a video that is just as good as I could do. And just watch a video, get your crescent wrench, some plumber's tape. The biggest deal is after you make sure you turn the water off is that you buy the right faucet that has the same hole pattern, which is usually typically there's one hole or, two, sometimes three. Getting the right hole pattern, order yourself a new faucet, get under there and get it changed.
Yeah, when I was remodeling my kitchen in my New York City apartment, I mean, we did very little stuff to remodel the whole kitchen. I got a new refrigerator, I got a new stove, I got a new sink and a new faucet. And then we did countertops. And I did the countertops myself. I just got like big tiles. But the faucet is a key thing because all New York City faucets are all like 40 years old and they suck. And the new stuff that they have is really great. That's a great idea. Let's go on to your fourth suggestion for DIY ways to add value and quality of life.
A great idea is a inline water filtration system underneath that brand new kitchen faucet. And these things are really simple, right? You can, again, Amazon, Home Depot. I just bought another one for a couple $100. It's a 3-stage filter and they call it an inline. It's kind of self-explanatory. You kind of unscrew one end, plug it into the filter, and then the hose from the filter back into the main line. And now what happens is you get fresh, delicious, clean, great tasting water straight from your tap. I mean, you make sure you hook it up to your cold supply, not the hot one. And now you can wash produce. There's no chlorine, and you have great tasting drinking water right from your faucet.
Cool. Then you replace the filter like every 6 months or so?
Depending on what one you get, they have recommendations and how often you're using it. But typically, I think it's 4 to 6 months. And you'll notice a lot of them have like a little gauge on them that says when it's time to change them. But that makes a big difference. Great tasting water, especially when we're home a lot these days, it's a big deal.
Used to be New York City water was great. Used to be. Not no mo. Not no mo. I'm telling you, like, God, what a disappointment it was when we found out how terrible New York City water is for you these days. We've been just doing a lot of bottled water, but that sounds like a really great suggestion. Folks, if you have repairs that you need to do, like if you got hit by a storm recently, I've been seeing a lot of information about storms that have been hitting all around the country. You may be listening to this on the iTunes podcast. Or if you had wind damage, or if you need to do a room addition or some kind of replacement of your bathroom or something like that, homerepair.com is where you can find all the information for Tony Silva. Or you could give him a call at, what's the number, Tony?
It's 877-RED-HOUSE.
Always a pleasure having you with us here on the greatest show of all time. Tony Silva, our home repair expert. Thanks so much, and we'll have you back next week.
Great. See you next week, Clint.
All right, everybody. That's going to wrap it up for this week. If you are interested in celebrity entrepreneurship, check out my book, Celebrity Entrepreneurship, on Amazon.com. You can find out all about it. And if you are interested in my event coming up August 7, 8, and 9. Next week, I've got NASA astronaut, Big Bang Theory star Mike Massimino joining us on The Greatest Show of All Time. And you can join me and Dr. Oz and Dr. Drew and the real Patch Adams and Surgeon General Jocelyn Elders, celebrity dentist Catrice Austin, Janae Noonan, and the one and only celebrity chef Paula Dean at the Instant Marketing Miracle in Atlanta, August 7, 8, 9. Get your tickets at IMM20.com, InstantMarketingMiracle20.com. Until next week, I'll be back at 9:30 p.m. on Sunday night with the greatest show of all time.